Let's start over. Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And I'm your host, Shane Nikolich, and today on my show I have as a guest once more my friend Easton Gladney. Good morning, Easton.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you saw well, actually, I do know you saw my post on Instagram. Started out the day by here at the station, out on the rooftop. Got a little video of a seagull chattering to me, and uh, I don't know. He's probably telling me to get off his rooftop, but oh well, whatever. He beat
That's
me. He
awesome.
beat me to it. You could see him fly off there at the end of the clip. As I was saying in that in that post on my social media, I was too late to see, or I, not too late, but I didn't have a chance to see the sunrise this morning. Well, the sky's clear now, and I got some awesome shots of Mount Rainier with the seagulls in there. So, yeah,
That's so awesome.
yeah. So it's like you miss it one moment, just wait, it'll come again. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, actually, just a moment. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It's super sunny here in Ohio. It's warm. Finally, it's not snowing or hailing. Today's going well. I'm on day 10 of 75 hard. So I'm feeling really good.
Oh, right on, right on. Yeah, I know that the 75 hard. I started out doing that, but yeah, I couldn't fit. I was having trouble fitting all the different rules, the things you have to do every day. Had trouble fitting all that in. So, it's like the reading 20 pages or whatever out of a
Yeah.
book every day. It's like, okay, well, I'm not fitting in, you know, not following every rule on this. So I just quit, being I run every day anyway. So and I'm on like today's day 1073, and it's like, okay, forget 75 hard. I don't need that. But
That's amazing. And I mean, like I've kind of realized about the challenge. It's not really about the superficial um, rules. It's more about growing as a human. And if you do
yeah,
fail, getting back up and continuing to move forward without judging yourself.
yeah, exactly. I yeah, it's like there's days when I may not feel totally up to par, and may judge myself for not feeling like running, not and whatever. And it's like, well, I'm human. There's going to be days when I just don't feel like running, and maybe I just walk a mile. But I shouldn't judge myself for that. If someone else wants to judge me for that, that's on them. I don't care. And I'm still moving. And uh that takes me back to something my friend Terry told me once, and it's stuck in my head ever since. A body in motion stays in motion. And whether it applied to my brain injury and recovering from that, when they told me I never walk again, or and recovering from that, or living with multiple sclerosis now. It's like a body in motion stays in motion. I just keep moving, so I just keep moving.
Yeah. I mean, like once you kind of get on that path of like growing as a human and like self development, it almost feels unnatural to like not do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like once you're on the path of progress, it's just like you may as well just keep progressing, because to stay still or move backward, just sort of like, what am I doing now? What's this all about? Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's like I I I asked you to do the show again, or if you wanted to do the show again, because I had you on as a guest a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was, and um, like I couldn't find a guest for today, and I'm like, you know what, that was an awesome episode, and I think people need to hear that, and due to operator error, this guy here, it didn't go on my Facebook Live, so I figured, hey, I want to do this show again anyway, because I think the message was awesome with the mental health advocacy and getting out there, not staying in one spot, not staying quiet about it and everything, and you know, seeking help, seeking others, seeking support, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I always love to jump back on and just spread like positivity, kindness, and just bring more awareness to things that I wish I kind of knew when I was little, and especially with the mental health space. It's not talked about. It's almost frowned upon, I think, in society to talk about your feelings and things that you're dealing with. So just like anytime I have a chance to come on here and speak about that, like, I love it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, it's like, I've been through my fair share of oh my gosh, counseling, psychology, neuropsychology. Um, I remember the neuropsychologist's office was the one I spent the most time at, but after my brain injury and all that, and going through the recovery process of all that, and but counselors at school, outside counseling, um, and it's like, but and all, maybe it was all equal help. Maybe that was a bigger help, but um, the but it seems to me like the biggest help of all was the support groups when I got out there, and you know for me it was the 12 step groups I attended, to deal with my own addictions and whatever, and well, addiction and alcoholism, and it's like just getting out there and finding out, whoa, there's other people that feel the way I feel and think the way I think, and they found a way. Maybe I can utilize this way too, utilize the tools that they used, and it's referring to a piece of literature in the 12-step groups. I picked up that simple kit of spiritual tools, and for me it's worked. um, I just, yeah, it's like, just keep moving forward. I it's like I just keep moving forward every day, and every day keeps getting better.
Yeah, it brings so much. It's crazy because, like, when you kind of surround yourself with people that have been through what you're going through, and I feel like this is kind of where like the therapy and that kind of, for me at least, wasn't getting me to the point where I wanted to be, is because a lot of those people that I was going to therapy and the therapist didn't go through like the amount of problems, or they weren't dealing with like mental health severely, and so like they had a hard time relating with me. But then, like, when I found someone online that completely changed my life about mental health, he went through like the exact stuff that I was going through. He could give like practical ways that helped him, and just like real things that helped him, and not just like a book and like shoved me in a hole. He gives me like real life examples of like, hey, like, if you're struggling with this, try this practice, and that changed my entire life.
That's just so awesome to hear. Yeah, it's like, I know you follow him. You follow Gary Vee too, and you
Yep.
probably heard him say this. Talk about there being, you know, 7 trillion people in the world, and how it's like, you know well, anyway, yeah, it's like there's in a brief synopsis, there's like 7 trillion people in the world, and so chances are you have a twin out there, someone who's been through what you've been through and gotten through it and can help, just by sharing how they did it, and you might be able to get through, you might or probably will be able to get through the same thing, just by following their example or maybe
Yeah.
adapting it a little bit.
That's the power with social media, and like with with us posting content about our stuff, we never know what humans or who we're going to affect by it. If we change like one person's life by the stuff that we put out, like I think it's worth it. And it's like you never know the amount of value or like what someone's going to pull from what you present and the things that you went through in life. So just like presenting what helped you and just speaking about like your problems could change someone's life tremendously.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, something you touched on about making a difference, changing people's lives, and it's like something I say at or what I say at the beginning of my social media posts every morning. Well, sometimes in the afternoon if I don't have a chance to get to it. But anyway, my positivity post for the day. Um, thank God it's whatever day it is, like today, thank God it's Sunday. And, but something I say in there is new day, new chance to make a difference, new shot at this life gig, new opportunity to live this life, and it's like, but that new chance to make a difference, it's, I've had a couple, maybe a few people say, chance to make a difference. What are you doing? It's like you're just saying what you did today or what your plans are for the day or whatever, and it's like, hey, some days are like that. So, some days there's not going to be like this grand moment of inspiration or motivation. Some days are just days. And, but still by sharing what we go through, sharing what our plans are, knowing who we are or knowing a bit about us, you know, maybe chances are over 7 trillion people in the world that there's someone listening, someone watching somewhere that you're just going to change their entire life, like you were just noting, maybe just change their day, but maybe just change their attitude, which will change their life. Who knows? But if you make no effort at all, just because, well, that's not a big deal. Well, then, you don't make an effort and nothing gets done. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the these small things matter the most, like a smile or like a hug. Just like these small things will like add up over time and just completely change the world or like your life or someone else's life.
Yeah, definitely. Even even something's, you know, I've had prime example. I've been at the point where I'm having a crappy day, and it'll be like, oh man, this is not going good at all. I just wish I could start over the day, and um, it's like I wish things were better. And then all of a sudden, it'll just pop in my head something that a friend or family member or someone told me or something I read 20 years ago that will pop in my head, regarding the situation I'm in. And it'll be like, oh, wow, that puts a whole new light on it. Yeah, it's like sometimes just the smallest things that can change an entire day or an entire year or an entire life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you know, me, me buying Brendan Burchard's book. the Motivation Manifesto, purchasing that online, what was that, like 2015? Just that little action of putting in that order and thinking that book might do me some good. And I'd like to read that and ordering it, all I had to pay was shipping, $7 shipping or whatever it was. And, that spurred me to write my book, which got this whole thing started. I wouldn't be here at the radio station if I hadn't ordered that book. It's like, wow.
That's so awesome. And it all starts with the mindset. I mean, if you're in the right mindset, it might not show in the material world right away, but if you have that right mindset and you're like trying to grow and you're like letting life flow, and things will start to work out for you eventually.
Yeah. It's like, some days, well, this morning I woke up and I got my first dose of Moderna vaccine, COVID vaccine yesterday morning. Just I went to the mall, just to go to the Nike outlet or Nike clearance store to get see if I could get a new pair of shoes, which I ended up buying a new pair of shoes, but I walked a mile around the mall before the stores opened. And they open up the mall and you can walk around inside the mall for like an hour before the stores open. And while I was walking around, I noticed they had a vaccination site inside the mall at a store that's no longer there. And so I, got to thinking about it, and I'm like, well, hey, I still need to get one. Do I really want one? So I don't know. I'd been toying around with the idea and, of whether I should get one or not. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get one. So after I bought my shoes, I went right over there and got my first dose, and no side effects. The injection site was sort of sore, and this morning I woke up and it was like, yeah, okay, this is sore than it was yesterday. And, it's throbbing and everything and still hurting right now like that. But, oh, well, we do what we got to do, right? But I was laying there this morning and I'm like, oh, man, this sucks. Maybe I should, break down, stop by the store and get some painkillers and, aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen or whatever. And, then I'm like, well, no, that's right. I quit taking those because my body had built up an immunity to them when I was taking MS treatment. And anyway, yeah, so I just opted not to and got up and started moving. And actually, the pain has subsided a bit, but it's mindset. If I wanted to stay in that mindset of, no, this hurts, this sucks, it's like may not have even gotten out of bed, but I mean,
Yeah.
chances are. But it's like okay, I got to get up, get moving, so let's do it. And here I sit, and my arm's still hurting, but oh well, whatever, life goes on, right?
Yeah, you just have to do the things like that you value, and like that pain can be there like all at once, and like you're gonna do the things that like you value in life, and like if pain comes, you can like acknowledge it's there and just still do the things that you value, just like you are right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because well, it's like, uh, yeah, it's like pain. It's almost an absolute of life, right? But I mean, it's like at one point or another, you know, chances are you're going to be in pain in your life, and it's like, so I don't know, might as well deal with it. Back when I was on my first MS treatment, it's an interferon treatment, and dealing with the side effects of that are horrendous, or the side effects anyway are horrendous, flu-like symptoms, and body just feels like crap and hurting and everything, and it's like, the whole 6 years I was on that, I'm like, okay, do I stay on this treatment? MS specialist says it's, I should stay on it because I'm doing okay, so far as she's considered with my disease. But dealing with these side effects, just makes, oh man, this sucks bad. And so it's like, but anyway, you got to take the anti-inflammatories or whatever, some painkillers as pre-medication and post-medication before and after your shot. And at any rate, I got to the point where it was like it wasn't working, so I'd up it a little more. It wasn't working, so I'd up it a little more. And I was doing this. My MS specialist said, okay, maybe raise it a little more. Pretty soon, I was taking like 2,000 or 2,400 milligrams of ibuprofen or whatever it was. And, whichever one I'd be taking at the time, I was taking that much. And I'm like, I got to the point after a few weeks of that high, I'm like, okay, wait, this is not healthy. And so, after a period of time, this is not going to be good at all. And, my kidneys or my liver or something's going to go. So this has got to go. So I just quit taking them and ended up switching treatments. And now I don't take any treatment. So whatever. And, headaches, arm aches, from injection sites, whatever, it's like, I just don't take anything.
That's awesome. And I mean, like, that's the fact that you had like that self-awareness to be okay, like we're gonna slow down on these and be like 2,400 is a lot, and let's just like try to wing off this. And like where you are now is like super impressive. It's super respectable to like hear your story and like see like where you came from and building your self-awareness and your like positivity and all that comes along with that to like where you are now, because it would have been super easy for you to kind of just like give up and be like, you know what, like I'm done, like I'm gonna sit here and just do nothing. But you're out running for 1,000 plus days and like all this amazing stuff, and you just chose to keep going instead of like giving up.
Well, yeah, it's, thank you. It's like giving up. Where does that get us? Nowhere, obviously, because we give up and just, sit there. And, yeah, it's like in my 20s, and I want to say, I don't know, late 20s, mid to late 20s or something like that. Maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was my early 20s. I don't know, something like that. I think of it, yeah, my early 20s. I gave up and, sort of gave up and, okay, well, this is it. This is life. This is what life's going to give me. This is what I'm going to get out of life. So, I just gave up and was sitting there at my apartment and, on no job, on antidepressants and fatigued and just gave up. And, my little life that I had was all there was going to be. Well, it's like, that's not all there was though. Or it seems like that's all there was,
Yeah.
because that's all I was willing to go after, was just sit there and take what it was, take what appeared life had given me. And, it's like, now I'm getting it. Now I'm going after it. Now I'm, making the effort instead of just giving up and not making any effort to do anything or go anywhere. And,
The amount of like possibilities and opportunities when you kind of like when you like open up your perspective and you stop like dwelling on things is enormous. And like you can do like whatever you want. It's just you being stuck in that mindset, because like I was in that same spot too where I was like, oh, like my life sucks and this is all I have, and then shifting my mindset to kind of see like a growth mindset, and like your perspective changes and then your entire outlook on life changes, and you see all these new like opportunities to grow and to start like different like businesses or to like improve your life that you didn't see before.
yeah. Yeah, it's like Well, yeah, it's like I gave up on myself. Well, as a matter of fact, there was one point in my teens, my late teens, when at that point where I had the right about 10 months of being dry, 9 or 10 months of being dry, no booze or drugs. But I still hadn't dealt with anything or anything like that. No, hadn't worked through anything, any gotten to the root causes of the alcoholism and drug addiction and all that, whatever was going on, but or all that was going on. But anyway, um, yeah, it's like I got to the point where everything surfaced at once. I was at that point where, okay, this is too much, too much. I'm giving up. I'm gonna kill myself, commit suicide. I'm out of here, I'm not gonna deal with this. And just take away my problems and take away my family's problems and my friends' problems regarding me, no one will have to deal with me, not even me. And, it's like there was, during those 2 points in my life where I almost gave up, I was at the point of limited vision, limited possibilities, limited potential. And it's like now that ever since I you know got into the 12 step support groups and used the 12 steps, worked those in my own life and became free of the alcohol and drugs as they were in my life. Um, and about that same time, and more so of recent years, started reading and following motivational and inspirational speakers. It's like they're talking about unlimited possibilities and unlimited potential. And it's like, you know what? That limited vision, limited potential, limited possibilities that I was about before, that was before. Now it's unlimited. So let's go for it.
What was the point in your life? Like, what gave you that hope to was there like a moment, did someone say something to you? Like, what was that turning point where you went from like having no hope to wanting to kill yourself to being like, okay, like life doesn't have to be this way? Was there like one switch, or was it like gradual?
It was, I want to, I'm leaning toward more gradual. I'm leaning toward more gradual, but there's like certain points where it's like I remember specific seconds or instances that I had this I had this awakening or spiritual awakening, if you will. That like, oh wow, that was wrong for me. This is the right way. And it's like, oh wow, it just changes my entire mindset. The first one being like an hour after I was going to kill myself, sitting in a doctor's appointment and, telling my doctor what I just told my mom a little while prior, about wanting to kill myself, and, just telling her, everything, whereas I had been so, sort of quiet and reserved about it all. Or I guess I had been quiet and reserved about it all, but I just let it all out and told her everything I had done, what I was, everything I had done and what I was about to do. And, she suggested I go to this 12-step meeting, and then I was sitting at a doctor's appointment that I had already set. I was sitting at a doctor's appointment a little while later, about half hour later, and told him the same thing I told Mom, and he opens the middle drawer of his desk and spins around in his little wheelie chair there, and spins around in his chair and pulls out this, holds up this green book, and I knew exactly what it was the this 12-step meeting schedule. I knew because I had seen it in Mom's truck before, and it's like, oh, okay. And so he just happens to open it just to the right page there and says, hey, there's a meeting starting here back in Enumclaw in 15 minutes. Get the hell out of here so you can get there on time. And, so I got out of there and made it to the meeting. And he even told me, and I'll meet you there. And he did. And, it's like, that was one of those moments that's like, okay, maybe this is the path I'm supposed to be on right now, because I, gotten 2 signs within the past half hour or 45 minutes pointing me in this direction. And
That's so awesome.
yeah, and it's like just walking into the meeting that night, I knew I was where I belonged. Just like felt so welcomed, and you know, you're one of us and all that, and I just, just felt so welcome, and I related to everything, and it's like, whoa, cool, and I belong here, and that thought of suicide somewhere in there, probably within that first hour afterward, the thought of suicide just went out the window, and we never know what's going to be until we get there. It's like maybe we think we know that everything is bad and everything's going to be bad, so why not end it here? Why not just give up? But you can't really see you can't see through all that. You can't see past it. So I don't know, that's where I am with it. How about you?
I mean, before, I don't really know what brought me hope. I mean, I kind of was just going through that because, I was the same as you. I wanted to kill myself because I thought there was no hope. I was like, oh well, if I'm gonna be stuck with these mental health problems, and I'm gonna be dealing them with my entire life, why not just end it? And I don't really know what carried me through that, but all I know is I went to therapy. Therapy didn't help, and as I was struggling, I continued to do my own research, look up stuff online, and I came across a guy named Mark Freeman. And as soon as I watched his videos, he shared a different perspective on it, and it brought me hope like instantly. And then I started to do more research, watch his videos. I just got his book, and it's amazing. I finished it 2 weeks ago, and it is so good. So that kind of brought me hope, and learning his new perspective on mental health versus what I thought it was, it changed my entire life. And now, going back to what you were saying about assuming life is now, I've been through so many scenarios where I thought they were bad in the moment, and then looking back on that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that shaped me in the person I am today. Or I assumed that I was gonna do something, and then an experience happens, and it turns me way off that assumption of how I assumed life is gonna be. And now I'm here, and it's so now I'm I can't assume the outcome of any experience because I never know how it's gonna go. My assumption of that experience just dilutes the actual experience I have and takes me out of the present moment. And since I have this giant assumption of how something's gonna go, I'm going in with a bias and not open to all these possibilities of what could happen.
Mm. Yeah, it's I learned many years ago. Uh, the 12-step program. One thing I learned in there, they one thing they say is You know, if you want to know how it works, take the first word, 3 letters, HOW, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. You know, and it's like you got to be honest with yourself and honest with others. But you got to be honest with yourself first, because if you're not honest with yourself, how are you going to be honest with others? Open-minded, you know, instead of being closed-minded, like we were talking about, being closed-minded to anything good happening in the future, or, you know, this turning into a good path, you know, that we're on, you know, well, that just closes everything off. And, you know, hence the give up attitude that we had. And, you know, it's like, and the willingness, you know, the willingness to do the work, the willingness to move forward, the willingness to not stay here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that, to be honest. I've actually never heard that before in my life, but I like that because I feel like the first step is coming to a realization. And if you don't realize, or like are really honest with yourself and bring it to the forefront of like, okay, like I'm really dealing with this problem. If you never come to that point and you try to block it out your entire life with drugs or like alcohol or whatever you want to like input for your blockage, you will never be able to fix the problem. And then like coming to that point is hard because you have to be like, okay, like it's time to change. And like that path to change is very, very difficult. And then the like openness just brings in more of like opportunities. And like when you walk into every opportunity with an open mind, you are open to all the possibilities and you're not blocking out certain things by your bias. And taking on an like open mind, it just brings so much joy because you're not going into experience stuck with your beliefs of how things should be. You are like open to like listening to like other people as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, and it's like staying closed and closed-minded and shut off to anything else, and only focusing on what I think and what I have to say. You know, where's the growth in that? And you know, to be able to grow, to move forward, we need to remain open to what other people say. We need to be open to hearing what other people have to say, and you know, maybe watching their shows. You know, be open to reading their literature. You know, be open to new ideas. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the world wouldn't be where it's at today if everyone was, you know, just stuck closed minded and focusing on old ideas.
Not at all. We would not be in like any place that we are now, like as a society. Like there would be no airplane or like there would be no like anything. We would just be kind of like sitting in the same spot our entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like this, and like, you know, social media, you know, it's like uh well, actually, on social media, you know, it's like there are people there, of course, like, you know, there's people in the world that do this, so there's going to be people on social media that do this. Out of 7 trillion people, of course there's going to be, but you know, like almost like closed-minded people who shut out certain things, certain ideologies, certain ideas, and just, you know, bash them and everything. But, you know, it's like, you know, but with this here, you know, this, my radio show and the book I wrote, and being positive, my attitude, my mindset, you know, your attitude, mindset, being positive, you know, and all the positivity out there on social media and in the world, you know, that's what moves everything forward, is positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, sure, out of 7 trillion people, there's going to be, a negative person, maybe a few, maybe a lot, but and it's like you know, out of the multitude of things that happen in the world, sure, there's going to be some negativity, some negative things happen, but we can focus on that, or we can keep positive mindset and keep moving forward.
Exactly. I mean, like just like you said before, like going through those experiences that you went through shaped you, and like a lot of the time, sometimes we might need some negativity to kind of show us the positive that we have in life. And I think there's always gonna be like negative people, and there's always gonna be positive people, and it's just whatever perspective and lens you want to look at. Like if you're looking for the negative, you're gonna find it, and if you're looking for the positive, if you're looking for the positivity and the positive people, you're gonna find it, and like it's just all on what you look for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I can, it's like I can recall different groups of friends um, through the years, different groups of friends, and looking at these people, and it's like my mind is positive, and I have positive mindset, so of course I gravitate toward the positive people, but it's like they say, there's one in every crowd. So it's like maybe one or a couple negative spots in a circle of positivity, and at times my mind has gravitated to that and gone like, oh man, why is there these negative spots, and then but then it's like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm focusing on that, you know and so just flip the switch and change the mindset back to focusing on the positive, back to focusing on the positive majority, if you will.
And I mean, like as we see with social media, I think like negativity and hate like always gets more attention, and I think um, that could be partially because like when you're happy and you're in a good place, you're not on social media expressing how like happy you are, or most people aren't. Like if they get like a great server like at a restaurant, they're not going to say, "Oh my gosh, you were amazing." But if they get a bad server or their food comes out, they're going to probably say something like every time. So it's like we need to see like more people to kind of speak up on like if they're happy or what they like about life, and to kind of like counterbalance all the negativity that like, like people toss out.
Yeah, yeah. Um yeah, you said that, and it something clicked in my mind. I was at a restaurant not too long ago. Well, maybe it was a while ago. I don't remember exactly when, but I was at a restaurant, and this the server, it looked like they may have been having a bad day, and service wasn't service wasn't 100%, and it's like, okay, well, that was sort of bad service, and but it's like, then it, what you were just saying, went through my mind, and it's like, wait a minute, maybe they're not having a good day to begin with. Maybe they have some, going through difficulties at home or something. And so, you know, I was just like, okay, so maybe they are having a bad day already. I don't want to go on top of that and tell them, okay, your service sucked, so you ain't getting a tip, or you're getting a very low tip.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, and I gave them the same amount of tip I would have if it was good service. And if they were smiling the whole time and real cheery, well, I gave them the same tip, either way. And it's like, because they served my food. It wasn't based on, okay, what kind of day are you having? You're having a crappy day. Okay, you get a crappy tip. It's not about that. Um, and always, you know, thinking about trying. I always try and think about the other person, and okay, maybe they're not having a good day to begin with. Why should I go and make their day any worse? If anything, I want to make it better. So
Yeah. Do you think getting to that mindset is difficult where you're putting yourself in other people's shoes?
um it's at yeah, I don't know. At first it was, but it's like I've been there too. I've had my fair share of crappy days, too many of them but it's like, you know, if I got to the point where just a sec here. Got to the point where, it just came to me that, okay, now I want to retaliate. I was having this thinking going through my head. I want to retaliate against their negativity with negativity of my own. Wait. That doesn't sound right at all. Why do I want to do that? Why negate negativity with more negativity? That just makes a big cauldron of negativity. So, it's like maybe I can transmute this situation. Maybe I can change their attitude. Maybe I can change their day, just by maybe I can change the aura, if you will, change the aura of the entire room just by, adding some positivity to it by, maybe making this person's day or making this person's moment anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it all starts with us and just being in that joyful place yourself, and you just exude like positivity and joy, and um, not letting like those outside factors affect you, which can be a very difficult place to get to. But it's like once you're in a joyful place, it's like everything else that happens on the external world um, doesn't matter, because like you can look at like everything like in a positive place, and if you're in a joyful place already, none of that's going to affect you, and you're going to just pass more joy, which then like other humans will just pick up on, and then they'll become more joyful as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like the mirror neurons. Um, I forget who mentioned that. I think it was Brennan Burchard. Might have been someone else, but anyway, yeah, it was Brennan Burchard. And it's like I've heard it said before. It's what they call it, or what's been called the herd instinct. It's like sort of, and the mirror neurons thing. It's like, okay, well, they're happy, they're being positive. That sounds like a good idea, and the other person mirroring the positivity. And just like I was just saying a moment ago about mirroring the negativity with more negativity, that doesn't do any good. It's like simple math. A positive times a negative, positive times, it's like negative plus negative equals negative. Negative plus positive, if there's more positivity than the negativity, it's going to be positive. So, I don't know, that's how it adds up in my head.
That's funny. Yeah, it all starts with us, and we just have to make sure that like we're in a good place, and that's
Yeah.
really all we can focus on it is like ourselves, and make sure we're in a good place, like mentally, spiritually, physically, and we can only control us, and whatever else happens, as long as you're in a good place, like that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's like, yeah, it's like for myself, I just wake up, every morning and grateful for being alive, grateful for waking up one more time, grateful for everything I have in my life. Um, it's like I've said, that there was a time when that wasn't going to be an option anymore. because of personal choice. But, you know, it's like, ever so grateful, eternally grateful that that never happened, you know, so that, you know, I can wake up one more time, you know, this morning and be here today on this radio show with you. You know, it's like, for me, it's like everything. For me, it's like my positivity resides in gratitude and love, and you know, without gratitude and love, I don't know where I'd be. You know, it's like I'm grateful I can, you know, for one main thing, a big thing in my life, I'm grateful I can run and I love to run. So, you know, it's like, it's a good thing in my life to have that I can still, you know, that I can still do that every day. And, you know, or at least get out there and speed walk on the days I don't feel like running. And, you know, it's all about, you know, finding what works in your own life, you know, to move you forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we overlook, especially for like me. Like I used to overlook a lot of small things, still like do. It's like your legs or like your breathing, which then helps us live in the present moment. Because it's like if you're focusing on things like your breath or like your feet touching the ground, that almost like instills you to be grateful because you're just like you are like in the moment, and then when you're in the moment, you, you're grateful, which then turns into just loving life and like exuding love, because it's like you have no time when you are focusing on like your legs or your feet or like your breath to like worry or be negative or positive. You're just like exuding love, and like that's it, because you're just like in the present moment enjoying life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. In the present moment. That's where, you know, if there's anything to give up on, it's like being outside of the present moment.
Yeah.
Um, you know, if there's one place we need to stay, it's in the present moment. You know, so long as we stay in the present, we'll get to the future. You know, because one day the future will be the present, and you know, it's like I'm just so glad I didn't stay in the past. You know, so I can be in the present and move forward to the future. Um, Yeah, and you know, I may run every day, but I'm in no hurry to get to tomorrow. I'm enjoying today. You know, just enjoying the present moment all the time. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and it's when you enjoy the present moment, you just exude like all this joy and love, which creates an even better future than if you were trying to control and like worry about the future, which is insane to think about, because your brain's like, I have to get control, like I have to know what's happening, like I have to find certainty. But it's like when you just enjoy and you let all that go, and you be the best person that you can be, and you enjoy the present moment in every moment, the future gets more and more blissful, because you are acting out of love like every like second, which just turns into more and more like material success um down the road.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I definitely totally relate with you on that one. Um, yeah, for a long time, I was like sort of stuck in a spot where I was repeating the past over and, you know, or at least the story in my head. I was repeating the story over and over and over and over again. And it's like, so I stayed there. And, you know, I didn't really seem to move forward very much. Um, you know, or at least, yeah, I didn't seem to move forward very much at all during that time. And um, I moved forward in a way, but not totally, and so, you know, not as far forward as I should have, or at least that I would have liked to. And now that you know, now that I've gotten myself out of that space, and I'm open, like we were talking about earlier, the openness, open-mindedness. Now that I'm open to, now instead of being closed to those limited possibilities and that old story, now I'm open to unlimited possibilities, unlimited potential, and anything can happen. And so why not go for it? You know, it's like, and now that I'm in that space, now I'm able to write a new story. Now I'm able to write, you know, a new present, different from the past, so that the future will be different and new and unlimited, you know. And it's like, it's just so amazing. Just a change of mindset can change everything.
It is insane, and it's just like having that trust that like everything's gonna work out, and it just makes life so joyful and so fun, and it's almost like a undescribable feeling when you're just in that present moment, because it's like it's straight bliss. You're just like loving life. You're like, life is so amazing and so joyful, and you're just like flowing, and it feels so good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, well, it's looking like we're at about that time. So yeah, the show's just about over. I better start wrapping it up. Um, we just got talking, and all of a sudden, bam! It's like the show's over. Um, time goes fast when you're having a good time. And
Yeah, I agree.
um, all right, so is the I forget what's good contact information if anyone would like to get a hold of you.
It's at Easton Gladney, EastonGladney on all social media platforms. And I'd love to answer like any questions, advice, just talk about anything. Um, yeah,
Okay, okay, cool. And yeah, I'll instead of saying I'll definitely tag you, I'll try and remember to tag you on my social media.
okay.
And yeah, come to think of it, I forget if I got you on Facebook or not. I'll have to do that immediately.
Yeah,
But at any rate, I'll make a point of remembering to tag you in my posts on this video. And yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's do a selfie moment. Right on, right on. All right, well, thank you very much for coming on my show again, and maybe in the future we can do it again, and you know, maybe talk about
100%.
yeah, maybe talk about something else, maybe just talk about the same stuff again, since this is pretty cool, you
Yeah.
know, and
And
sharing the
yeah,
message.
thank you so much too. I mean, like I appreciated just coming on here, like enjoying like an awesome conversation with you and just spreading positivity.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, thank you very much for coming on and help me out with, you know, spreading positivity. And um, who knows, maybe we helped, hopefully we helped someone today.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but all right, well, with that, I see it's 9 o'clock, actually, a few seconds after. So, all right, I'll just say, you know, stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week. And I will see you next Sunday at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific on VT Radio Universal. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you
And
so much.